Alright guys, here we are. It's our Monday morning mobility workout live. So we're going to give it a bit of time. We're going to give it about 30 seconds before we get started. And just let people kind of come in and get started. So getting weighted. Or, can't even speak English this time of the morning. But anyway, we'll wait here. Give it a few 20 seconds more. Wait for people to filter in. And then we will get started. But all you'll need today is a bit of floor space. And you're pretty much ready to go. So we're going to keep it with the basics and we're going to stay with the hips. I'm going to oil these joints and get them going. So after this, you should feel pretty fresh. And then that will set you up nicely. So if you do want to do a workout after this one, you can fire away. You'll be primed, ready to go. So what we'll do now is we'll start a 10-second timer to get us onto the ground. So we're going to that legs 90-90. So sitting on our bum, we're going to go legs 90-90. So you're sitting in that V-shaped position with your legs. So heels on the ground, knees up. We're going to rotate our knees down to one side, hands behind. Make that 90 degrees at the back of the knees and the front of the hips. Pick up the knees and rotate and bring it back down. But we're keeping the heels on the ground. So we never pick the heels up. They always stay grounded. And now we're just going side to side like window wipers. So we just start off with this one just to get the hips moving. And we're going to stay in these 90-90 series or position as we go. So you might notice you slide forward and you might have to readjust. Now you find this quite easy, you can put the hands out in front, but make sure both knees stay down and the chest stays pointing forward. In 3 seconds time, we're going to stay to one side. So rest there, you're going to set up on one side. We're going to have a look at this back foot. So this whole back leg as a whole, and then we're going to break it down to this back foot. So keep the knee down, you can rotate and pivot on that outside hand, and then we're going to pick up that foot and bring it down nice and slow. So what we're doing here is, we've done our legs 90-90 of side to side. Now we've split our body up into half, so left and right foot. So we have external rotation and then we have internal rotation. And then we split it up even further. You've gone from whole leg to just the ankle. Same here. We can go from knee to ankle and then split it in half and just go with the ankle. So that means now we've got 4 sections we got to work. So another 5 seconds. We're actually going to stay in this side here. So 2, 1. We're going to stay on this side just to make everything easier, so we're into that position a lot faster and ready to go. So now we've done the back foot, we're going to look at the back leg as a whole. So knee and ankle together, bring them up, and then you're going to bring them nice and slow back down. So you shouldn't even hear it touch the floor. You want to control it. You want to also maintain that 90 degree in the back of the knee. Now, this is where you might actually see a bit of cramping come in, or feel a bit of cramping come in. But that's absolutely normal. Give it a sec. You might even have to roll away from that leg for a bit just to ease the pressure off it. That's absolutely fine. Just imagine yourself as a dog peeing against a fire hydrant or a pole. You can even pause there for a second and then bring it back down. Now the less hands you use as support, the harder it's going to be, because we're compressing that hip joint a little bit more. We've got nothing keeping us upright. So 10 seconds rest here. Now we're going to look at this front leg. And you'll have to drop down to your elbow for this, maybe even your shoulder. And now we're going to look at this front foot. So keep the knee down, bring the foot up, and bring it back down. So imagine you have a string tied to that heel. You're kind of pulling that every time. Now, if you find this quite difficult, which it is, it's not the easiest one at all, you can drop down to your shoulder. Now, of course, that makes it easier for this front leg, but it also makes it a little bit more awkward for this top leg. So you can swing that top leg around and go from there. If not, you can stay with that. Kickstand the hand, make it a little bit harder, because the more upright you are, the harder everything gets with the hips. But remember, I lean but don't re-lean, so don't forget that. So 3, 2, and 1. Rest there. Now we're going to look at this whole front leg. So if you do have any questions, throw it in. I can see it all here. And we can get those answered ASAP. So 2, 1, let's lift up. So think about bringing that heel towards your chest. Now, you're going to do pretty well getting that heel towards your chest. It won't necessarily happen, but never say never. But I'd be pretty confident. But that lean but don't re-lean, so find your position where you're nice and tight, so you keep the abs tight, but we don't want to pick that leg up and lean again to make it easier. because then we're not getting the full effect of that movement. So you might as well just keep moving with the leg when it's moving. So it doesn't really make sense to lean and then lean again. So 2, 1. Well, now what we're going to do here is swap it over to the other side, and we're repeating everything we've just done on this side. So we started with the back foot, so we're going to start with the back foot. Let's go. So we're going to pick that foot up, bring it back down, and also I say it every week, but you're going to see those differences between left and right. It's just going to happen. If both sides are the same, well done you. You're one of the rare few people that have the same movement in the hips. But make sure with this, as we're swapping and as we're getting into different positions, we got to maintain that 90 degrees. It's very easy to fall out of that. Now you can make this one a lot harder by taking the hand off, being a lot more upright. And you're still going to get a bit of movement through there. If not, use your fingers. 2, 1, and rest. If you use 5 fingers, you're going to have more support than you will with 2 fingers. And that's going to actually make a huge difference. So now we're going to look at this whole back leg, knee and ankle together. So lift it up, bring it back down. You also place a hand here in between the 2 legs for extra bit of support. But everything here is going to be nice and slow. Control it. You want to be in control of every part of that movement. So you're never kind of taking it backward or a back seat in this and just doing the movement for the sake of doing the movement. You actually feel that hip joint working. It's like when you do your exercises with Ronan most of the time. So 4 seconds to go, you're actually trying to feel that mind-muscle connection. Well, we're trying to do the same here with the joints and rest. So this is the one where we can drop down to the elbow to make it easier, or you can drop down to the shoulder. If you're doing it in an upright position, well, that's pretty good work. So let's go. Just that front foot, keep the knee down. And remember, you might have those differences between left and right. So you might be on the elbow on the right side, which actually may be upright, or on your shoulder on the left side, on the other side. So remember, you're pulling that string, bring the heel up. You will feel a little bit here in your thigh, your adductor, as that's working a little bit. But we're going to go through all these movements. We've got one more to go on this side. And that means we're back to the start with our window wipers to get that internal and external rotation. So 3 seconds to go. And rest there. So you're not looking for the most amount of reps in this 40-second window. So going in 2 seconds again. 2, 1, lift the whole leg up and bring it back down. So you're not looking for the most amount of reps in this 40-second window. What we want to do is get the highest quality reps. It doesn't matter if you get 2 reps in that 40-second window, as long as they are really high quality and we're just moving those hips. It's 2 more reps than you've done if you wouldn't have done this video. Put it that way. So we're just looking for you guys to move. Movement is healthy. Same with the joints. It all helps. So another 5 seconds, then we have a 10-second rest, and then we're into our second round and rest there. So we're just looking to move these hips in different ways, and we're polishing it from different angles. So I'll explain that one better here now. So let's just go side to side. So just remember what level you're at, whether you're upright, keeping that chest forward so don't rotate it, and you're getting both legs, both knees down, or hands behind to open up the hips. So think about your pelvis as we're going to compare it to bowling. Yes, I said bowling. Imagine you have a towel and you polish that bowling ball. That's normal. Makes the ball slide a lot smoother. Same with the joints. Your pelvis is that towel. Your femur here, which is that bone from your knee to your pelvis, that is your femur. We want to polish the top of that femur as much as we can. So rest there. We're going to rotate towards the left side. Look over that left knee. We're trying to polish the top of that femur as much as we can, and all these movements open up different areas of that. And let's go pick up that foot, so it opens up different surface areas that we're trying to cover it all, because one movement isn't going to cover it all. So we got to do different movements in order to get the whole surface. And this is what all these movements are, between bringing it through internal, external, adduction where we add to the body, abduction where we bring that leg or that arm away from the body, flexion, where you bring the knee up towards the chest, and an extension, where we're in a standing position, or even if that knee kind of goes slightly behind us. So 2, 1. Now just look at this knee and ankle. Give another 8 seconds before you get started. Remember to lean, but don't re-lean. I'm gonna bang on about that, and that's your one takeaway from today. So let's go, lift it up, and then bring it back down. So for me, my right side is a lot better. It feels a lot smoother. It doesn't struggle as much, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna cramp up as much. Now, don't get me wrong. My hips do feel like cramping up every now and again. So just nice and slow. All about the quality of reps. Another 15 seconds to go. So it's all silent. The movements are all silent. So 2, 1, back down. Now let's look at that front leg. Make sure that knee is directly in front of that hip of that outside leg. Drop down to the shoulder if you need to. So going in 2, 1, and lift up that foot. Bring it back down. Now remember, drop down to the elbow to make it a little bit easier. Drop down to your shoulder to make it the easiest, but still, it's not gonna make it easy. But this is where you gotta be honest with yourself, and this is where the ego, you gotta take the ego out of it. And even if you have to go to that easiest level, go for it. You're gonna get more of a return going from that easiest level and really focusing on that movement, as opposed to going to the harder level or slightly harder level and trying it there and getting little to no movement. Even though you're still getting in the air and you can get a piece of paper underneath it, it's not what we're looking for. So 2, 1, and rest. Right, we're gonna look at this whole front leg. You can kickstand that hand a little bit. When I say kickstand, I just mean kick through it, and that's gonna be your support leg. So 2, 1, let's lift it up, and then bring it back down. And if you're feeling pretty comfortable with this one, where you don't feel like you have to lean to the side as much, try with 5 fingers, right? Or 4 fingers, 1 thumb. Try with that. Then what I want you to do is start taking a finger away. Then take another finger away. And another finger away. And that's going to be a little bit harder again. So you can either go no hands if you're pretty good at that, and if you're comfortable enough, but we want you to stay nice and stiff through it. So my hips this morning are a little bit tight, so I'm actually not able to hold that. So 2, 1, take a rest there. So let's swap it over, other side. Look at this back foot now. Last 4 movements. So keep the knee down, back foot, lift it up. So my hips are actually feeling quite tight from the bit of running I did in the weekend. So I actually couldn't use the hardest level there without moving or kind of shifting. So I took it back 1. So it's all about just realizing what level we're at. So it's you against you, really. It's you against no one else. It's not a competition. So we're internally rotating this foot. Even though that knee stays down, we're still rotating the femur inwards. So it's still internal rotation. And rest there, looking at his knee and ankle now. But because this leg is already internal rotation, we're trying to rotate it even more as we bring that leg up. So 2, 1, and now we're going into external rotation, or bringing it out to the side. Because if you imagine you're on all 4s, so hands and knees, and we're bringing this knee out to the side, well, that's going into external rotation. Exact same, just a different setup. So we're going to hit these in different ways. And as you pick this leg up, depending on how high you get, you might even feel a pinching in that gut on that inside, or on the outside, should I say. So nice and slow. And if you want to make it a little bit easier, lean to the side and rest there. So we got 10 seconds. We got 2 more movements, focusing on this front foot. We're going to keep this knee down, but we're going to lift that front foot up. So when you're ready, let's go. So nice and slow. So controlling every aspect, every second of this movement. Now it's still not easy. It's going to make you sweat. The heart rate doesn't go up. Well, it does a little bit, but it doesn't shoot up like you would be doing exercise like kettlebell swings or anything like that. And you still have your breath. So that just means you can take your time. You're in control of pretty much everything. 2, 1, rest there. Shake the legs out if you need to. We got one more movement to go, and this is where we can move the hand even closer to that leg. Don't need to make it so tough. So 2, 1, let's lift it up. Think about bringing that heel towards your chest, but as you bring it down, I don't want you to bring that heel in and then try to lift up. Keep it out nice and wide in that 90-degree posture, because that front knee should be in front of that hip. So everything is pretty much aligning with something. Whether it be the knee at the ankle, whether it be the knee with the hip, they're all going to relate to each other. Now, this is where it doesn't matter so much about that back leg, but ideally we'd like to keep somewhat of a 90-degree position or something close. So pick that leg up. You can freeze there for a second, make it a little bit tougher, looking towards the strength aspect of things, and rest there. So that is your Monday morning mobility workout done. So good work with that, guys. So you should be feeling pretty loose through those hips. Now, you might be a little bit achy, depending if you've left it a few days and you've really made an effort on that one today. But the more we do these, guys, the more mobile you're going to be, the better you're going to feel, and the smoother everything's going to be. All right, so good work, guys, and we will see you again tomorrow.